Hello, everybody. Welcome to Queer Games Heck Yeah for today. I'm Luke Miller. I'm a game dev. I make little games, usually queer or gay, but sometimes not. Um, I might talk about that over the next few weeks. I don't know. Because I actually, my day job is making games at the moment, so I'm kind of like right up to my elbows in game dev, but I don't really talk about it very much. I'm currently working on a game called Liberation, which is like all my little sci-fi retro fantasies in one game. But it's not super gay, although I am sneaking in some pretty gay stuff. But I'm not calling it a gay game actually, which is like a big thing for me. But we're not here today to talk about Liberation or my games. We're here to talk about the Queer Games Bundle, which is a collection of hundreds and hundreds of games and comics and um, albums as well, music albums that you can get for a pittance over on itch. It's a really great project and it really supports, global culture. Mostly Americans, but a smattering of people from elsewhere too. Um, yeah, and so I'm just going through it and just picking out some games that look interesting and giving them like half an hour just to get a little flavor of them. Today I've picked up a game called Human Capital Punishment, text game by the looks of it. Uh, yeah, but don't let looks put you off with indie games. I think they're often diamonds in the rough, but I guarantee you, if you play enough indie games, you'll come to love them. Maybe they'll wear you down. Maybe that's what happened to me, but you'll come to realize that there is nothing more personal and more impactful in gaming than indie games, and queer games are right at the front of that. Because it's a text-based game and it's taking up a little bit of the window, I've taken the luxury today of like expanding the camera element. So if you can see like my beard out of shape, it's and you're wondering why you didn't see it in the last video. It's because I'm like stretching the limbs today. All right, so we're gonna give it a little go. I try to give them up to half an hour, but if my attention starts to wander, rather than like force it. I just kind of go, we'll end it here. So, and the other thing is sometimes the games are very short. They could be like, some games are like 30 seconds long. But, it's not uncommon to get like a 5 or 8 minute game. But on the other hand, like a lot of these games are like 30-hour epics. You just don't know. You've got no way of telling. Let's give it a go. Bold choice having light grey on white. Thanks for that, Dev. Thank you very much. Oh, theme. Wait a minute. Well, now we've got light grey on black. I don't know if that helps. Oh well. Human Capital Punishment by Wallace Crowe. The apartment building I live in is worth less than a single table in this cafeteria. Bas reliefs, reflecting the illustrious history of DHP Inc., have been hand carved into the marble. The soft lights recessed into the ceiling of this cavernous room add a sheen to the table's gold accented edges. To top it off, the transparent screen tabletop is surely DHP's cutting edge model. Okay, so I'm trying to get like the world building little breadcrumbs out of the first little bit. Giant corporation, a little bit Microsofty, a little bit Dell, a little bit IBM. I get it. The other office workers are reviewing holographic charts and spreadsheets as they enjoy their chic meals. I just have to play it cool. Ooh, scroll. Okay. This is why I've taken this job despite feeling underqualified. The chance to make enough money to change my life forever. I've gotten us both some lunch. Let's find a free table. My assigned mentor, Charles, looks like a typical employee of DHP. He is in his 30s, although his raspy voice sounds older. Maybe he's been doing Queer Games Heck Yeah for a couple of hours. He wears an expensive suit and tie that have grown slightly too tight. Oh. Charles set out our meals. Oh, bangan, bata, and rice with mango smoothies and organic strawberries. One thing about reading out games is they guarantee to test your ability to pronounce words. The zesty curry is the most flavorful meal I've had in months, a big improvement from the cup noodles and blanched mushrooms I made for lunch yesterday. The thought of free gourmet meals every day makes my mouth water. How was the orientation? Okay, two options. Learning about all those forms and employee contracts templates. Oh god, this is triggering me. Onboarding is so dry. This place is enormous. Even after the tour, I don't know if I'm going to find my way back to the rail station tonight. I mean, both of these options are really boring. You're going to fit right in here at DHP. The size is nice once you get used to it. All the walking helps keep us all in shape. I know your first day can be intimidating, but you'll settle in soon enough. Human capital management is far from the hardest department to end up in. While we eat, why don't I quiz you on what you're going to be doing today? I want you to be able to take the lead, and we're going to have a very busy afternoon. The childish grin on Charles's face as he takes a sip of his smoothie makes it clear his question was rhetorical. He obviously enjoys making sure new employees know their incompetence. First question: what separates human capital managers like us from mere human resource managers? Okay, maybe if the vibe of the game, I'm getting a little bit of like dystopian, like, what is it, evil, the blandness of evil kind of vibe out of it. What this person may have done is they've just taken their own job and put it into game form to horrify us all, and I believe it. Human capital analyzes a person's economic output, while human resources analyzes their skills. Or human resources only handles hiring and onboarding. We ensure the economic efficiency of employees during their employment. Or three, I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure, but I don't want to give the I'm not sure answer. We're gonna pause. There was a telephone call that I had to take. All right, we're back. So, oh yes, so I don't want to. We just want to pick kind of the most dramatic option, but this game is really giving us like not dramatic options. I'm gonna say where I'm going with the RoboCop vibe, dystopia vibe, and we're just saying we're focused on the economics of it. You're half right. Human resources job ends when they get people in the door, but we're the ones who decide whether they stay long term. He feigns disappointment as his grin intensifies. How does my work ensure that DHP maintains its status as the pinnacle of the hollow monitor industry? By maintaining high quality human capital gives DHP Inc. the talent needed to stay dominant in the market. B. Eliminating low quality human capital is necessary for the success of any megacorp. Or C. Looking around the pack cafeteria and ask, are you the only person ensuring DHP leads the industry? Ooh, I like the clapback. You have no idea how many people would be fighting through to get lunch if I wasn't here, believe me. Anyway, last question now. Charles locks eyes with you, his grin reverting to a cold poise. He's taking this seriously now. Are you prepared to give your life for this job? Oh god. I would say yes, but then I would be going back to my desk and on my phone, not connected to the office Wi-Fi, I would be looking up a new job. I would not be using the local computer for that. Yes. Good. With that, Charles's cheery demeanour quickly resumes as he gathers his dishes. Well, that's enough quizzing for now. I might give you a pop quiz later to keep you on your toes, though. Don't want you sleeping through this afternoon, as well as the orientation. His grin is back in full force. Let's get moving. Our first employee interview is in 15 minutes, our second in an hour and a half. After that, we'll file our paperwork and wrap up for the day. A brisk walk through the labyrinthine building got us to the first interview on time. Charles and I were greeted by a small woman in a pristine white lab coat as we entered the small office. I garbled that. I'm Dr. Zarkin. Please. Oh my gosh. Okay, I really just lost focus there in that paragraph. I think I was distracted about what a cool name Zarkin is for a human. Very sci-fi, very, very evil, well, very sciencey name, isn't it? I think because of Dr. Zarkov from Flash Gordon, maybe? Pleased to make your acquaintance. Pleased to make your acquaintance as well, Charles said. Company policy necessitates our anonymity with the interviewee. My mentee will be taking the lead today. Rest assured that I'll step in when they make a mistake. Now, let's begin. I like Charles. He's giving me American Psycho vibes. Please state... Oh, Charles and Dr. Zarkin look at me expectantly. Please state your name and job title. How long have you worked for DHP? Please describe your work. Oh, okay. Please state your name and job title. My full name is Rosaria Zarkin, and I work as a biochemical engineer. How long have you worked for DHP? Should I count the time I spent as a DHP Innovation Fellow during grad school? No. Charles nods in agreement. See, anything to reduce the like financial obligation to the employee is probably what I'm going to go with. Charles nods in agreement. In that case, I've been working here 7 years now. I guess 7 1/3 if you want to be precise about it. Please describe your work. I develop warehouse assistive technologies to improve worker productivity. Currently, I'm developing several drugs to increase alacrity and alertness. Alacrity? You know, I see that word all the time, but I really don't know what it means or how to pronounce it. While they're still works in progress, we've seen a 7% increase in packages output per hour in our double-blind tests. Our options are: how many workers have opted in to these drug trials? Are there any risks to these drugs? Or how do you expect your work to impact DHP? Alright, we'll say the opt-in. Opted in. The workers are mandated to take part in the trials. We have roughly one warehouse taking each drug, while the remaining warehouses are used as baseliners. See, what I love about the person writing this, or the people who have made this game, is they've made a horrific game, like a horrific story, but they've imagined it perfectly. And what does that say about them? It's like they've imagined this drug trial, like force drugs on their workers, but they still kept in mind that they need to have like a control group happening. And I'm like, yes, well done on your creativity, but also you scare me. Are there any risks to these drugs? Oh no, as I said, we've seen consistent productivity increases. We expect a consistent 13% increase in packages output per hour with these latest formulations. Are there no side effects? Charles interjects, remember, we should focus on how her work impacts HP. Are there any other changes in employee retention or workplace morale? Dr. Zarkin considers her answer for a moment. Well, we do see an 87% decrease in employee retention rate. This is largely due to carelessness on the workers' part, an increase in injuries they try to attribute to the drugs. Rest assured that the company has disproved those claims and has not had to pay any workers' compensation. There has been an increase in worker violence, but DHP Security has been able to swiftly eliminate any issues without collateral damage. As for workplace morale, the drugs seem to be a net positive. Increased docility prevents negative emotions from the decreased retention rate, and the increased productivity and mild high improved job satisfaction by 43%. How do you expect your work to impact DHP? Based on the increases in productivity we're seeing, we expect to reduce wage expenses by 18% in each warehouse where our drugs are used. This does come with increased recruiting and training costs to compensate for the lower employee retention rate, but overall profitability should increase by 14%. This really is on the cutting edge of warehouse assistive technologies. Dr. Zarkin stares straight at me, full of enthusiasm, but also desperation. That concludes our interview. Thank you for your participation. Thank you. Dr. Zarkin's hands are shaking slightly as Charles and I stand to leave. I heard a mix of a sigh and a sob as I closed the door behind us. Charles hurried me over to our next interview. I wanted to discuss the previous interview during the walk over, but his stoic demeanour dissuaded me. We arrived at a palatial office, where Charles informed the doorman of our appointment. Right this way, sir. Mr. Kaufman should be ready for you. The sharply dressed man led us along a long hallway filled with doors. Each of the adjoining rooms was larger and more lavish than the last. The hallway ended in double-frosted glass doors with gold handles. The human capital managers are here to see you, Mr. Kaufman. May they come in? Yeah, just let the ladies see them out. Yeah, just let the ladies see them out. Yeah, just let the ladies see themselves out first, a voice responded from inside. The doorman opened the door as four blonde women in red bikinis filed out, each carrying a plain wash rag. So let me grab some water. Charles and I entered the room, whose floor, ceiling, and walls were composed of seamless, transparent screens. The screens displayed a New Zealand countryside. I'm not making a joke. I'm not making a New Zealand joke there. Holographic grass clipping through our shoes. I can't discern how large the room is, since the only real objects appear to be the doors we entered through and the mahogany desk the man is seated behind. Sorry about that, fellas. These screens are a real heck to keep clean. The bald, pale man wore a tan suit which accentuated his fit frame. He beckoned us forward while smoking, although there were no seats for us. Thanks for having us, Mr. Kaufman, Charles said. My mentee will be conducting the interview while I assist. Wait, I'm getting evaluated by some newbie? I was told that I would get the best manager that human capital had to offer. You think this hecker right here out of the academy can evaluate me? Rest assured that I'll ensure you receive a fair evaluation, Mr. Kaufman. Mr. Kaufman pouted slightly as he laid back in his seat and waited for me to begin. Please state your name and job title. See, Mr. Kaufman points an accusatory finger at me. This poor sod doesn't even know who they're interviewing. It's standardized question, Mr. Kaufman. Please refrain from any more personal attacks on my mentee. Fine. Mr. Kaufman straightened in his seat and puffed out his chest. My name is Benedict Kaufman, and I am a chief economic innovator. How long have you worked for DHP? I've been putting my nose to the grindstone since the moment I left my mother's womb. Every day I told myself that I was going to be an innovator, not a worker, so I worked 20-hour days my whole life to get where I am today. It does say on your file that you were legally employed by DHP since birth, but how long have you worked as Chief Economic Innovator? I became Chief Economic Innovator 17 years ago. My father thought it was too early, but I worked so hard he had no choice but to give me the position I deserved. This is a very zeitgeisty game. This is very ticking a lot of boxes at the moment. There's a bit of Nepo baby action happening here, I suspect. I don't know what is in other countries, but we have an ongoing joke with the media here where it's like when someone talks about being a millionaire by like being rich by 30 or 25 or owning a house by 25, whatever, just buried somewhere in the paragraph. It's like, yes, I was CEO of my father's company or something. Please describe your work. I innovate. This office has been the birthplace of thousands of ideas that could have revolutionized this company. Edible monitors to bring us into the food service industry, keyboards that automatically insert advertisements into the documents. Oh my god. And emails they write to strengthen our brand image. Yes, sorry, yep. Smart condoms that track your sexual performance. Nowhere else in this building will you find ideas half as bold as those. Breaking out of the worker mindset has opened up so many possibilities that I don't have enough hours in a day to write them all down. What do you do with these ideas? How many of your ideas are being manufactured by DHP right now? Or how do you expect your work to impact DHP? How many of these? Once I get the investment capital, I move on to the next idea. Not good for a creative mind like mine to stay focused on one idea for too long. Actually, I can help here, Charles says. He pulls out a tablet. According to the figures from last fiscal quarter, no products are being brought to market. However, DHP has made a large profit due to increased liquidity from the investment capital. Overall, corporate profit is expected to fall 7% if the investment capital were to stop coming in. Charles' eyebrows raise as he reads the forecast. My ideas are powerful. The market can't even handle them yet. Or what do you do with these ideas? Well, I'm sure my work is challenging for you to grasp, but I'll break it down for you. I write down one of these ideas and I send it off to one of the marketeers to refine the sales pitch. Then I bring it around to my investor capital buddies. They always love the idea. So DHP gets a large flow of cash to fund the project. That cash goes to some workers to make the product, and then we sit back and let the money roll in. Now do you understand my genius? I think I get it. You're welcome. How do you expect your work to impact DHP? Thank you for the interview. Sweet, send those girls back in on your way out. He leans back in his chair, totally at ease as the four women re-enter the room. Charles and I met in his nicely furnished but otherwise unassuming office. I pulled a chair up to his desk to review the notes he'd taken during our interviews. After reading for a couple of minutes, Charles turns to me. I've arrived at my decision. I'll use that to guide you, but ultimately the decision is yours. I trust you choose responsibly. Now, who should be eliminated? Wow. Zarkin should be eliminated. Kaufman should be eliminated. When you say eliminated, I can't decide. I mean, Kaufman hasn't killed anyone. Zarkin is like breeding like a lab of zombie people. Why not both? I can't decide. Oh, but then that's such a dumb thing. But I feel like Charles wants to hear us ask for him his opinion. I can't decide. All right. You have to, or else you're going to be fired on your first day. The thought of being fired makes me shudder. uh, Benedict. Okay. Are you sure you want to eliminate him from his investment? That's critical to. Oh. Yes. With that, they're eliminated. DHP security will take care of them when they leave tonight. He glanced at the clock before looking at me with a surprising amount of sympathy. We can wrap it up for today. We should already have today's wage in your bank account. Take my advice and spend it all tonight. You'll need it if you want to sleep well. I could not believe the amount of money in my bank account as I walked out of that monolithic building. Charles told me to spend it all, but I'm not even sure how to spend this much. Food, drugs, sex, luxuries? Oh. Let's go drugs. I didn't even have to choose. I could have my fill of all of those without making a dent in my wage. This job will change my life as long as I can live with myself. Even if today's choice doesn't weigh on me, I'll have to make the decisions that will. The end. Alright, okay. Interesting. It was well written. It was very, very railsy, I guess. Like, I just feel like we were just powering through the one story. Which I guess a lot of the games are, but some hide it better than others. Um, yeah, I mean, no complaints. I think we only saw like one of the possible endings. Well, obviously we only saw one of the possible endings because there were four at the very end there. But even if those were the four, there might be other endings other than that. I guess what struck me about this was it was really well written. Like quite a few of the games I played recently, I've needed an editor where I didn't feel this at all. I felt this was like a very resolved, complete kind of piece. So that was pretty cool. I really liked the well, I mean, the moral dilemmas were kind of. It wasn't like as a sick child needing to cross the border kind of thing. I just mean it was good world building. I felt like you really got a vibe for this world, even though you only saw a little piece of it, which is always quite good writing too. Yeah, I think the writing was the standout of this one. Something I would change is the the text. Oh, like it's very very tough to read. But other than that, that was Human Capital Punishment. Thank you for joining me on today's Queer Games Heck Yeah, and I'll see you later. Bye.